more and more people are becoming aware that we are going through decisive phases on a global level. A collective consciousness is emerging that has been developing for some time, becoming more and more clear and powerful. This scares the rulers of the world, so they try to prevent this by distracting us with their tricks. First, they created a false global alarm by providing exaggerated and manipulated data for the sole purpose of inciting fear, selling their chemicals, and restricting our freedom. But as a result, many people begin to question and understand what is really happening. In their attempt to control and suppress human rights, they have only achieved the opposite. Those who previously believed in the system are now beginning to open their eyes to the outrageous manipulation that has now become so apparent. Although they have always existed at the hands of a power group that has oppressed humanity for centuries, people are only now beginning to recognize these manipulations. All people form one whole, but they have divided us with their wars and border conflicts, the distinction between rich and poor countries. They have sown fear, sadness, hunger, hatred, poverty and diseases among the population, creating a sense of negativity among the people. If we look back, we see that this has always been the case. History has been manipulated for centuries. Almost all traces of our past have been erased, plunging us into absolute ignorance, making it increasingly difficult to distinguish truth from lies. The archaeological objects that showed a different story than the official one were stolen, sold, or mysteriously disappeared. The obliteration of knowledge and historical record has always existed. Let us remember the fire of the Library of Alexandria in Egypt in 332 BC, during which most of the knowledge available at the time was mysteriously destroyed. Another fire accidentally destroyed more than 120,000 volumes of ancient texts from the Library of Constantinople in Turkey. But it was the Catholic Church, under the pretext of suppressing heresy, that undertook the greatest obliteration of our historical memory, creating the so-called Holy Inquisition, which from the 15th to the 19th century produced an invaluable amount of books burned and destroyed. And if this wasn't enough, in 1564, by order of the Council of Trent, Pope Pius V published a work, Index of Forbidden Books, which banned the printing of books without episcopal approval. To this long list of erasures from human history, we should add the 14 million codices burned in the 16th century. We cannot help but mention the 8,000 pieces from Father Crespi's collection that disappeared in a mysterious fire in the museum that housed them, because the investigation would have turned the official history of the whole world upside down. Let's not forget the burning of 36 libraries in Baghdad, and during the invasion of Iraq in 2003, the burning of 1 million books from the National Library was ordered. Another case of colossal proportions was the memorable 2018 fire at Brazil's National Museum, which had housed no fewer than 20 million writings and exhibits. The list of missing archaeological artifacts and libraries consumed by the supposedly accidental flames is endless. The world's ruling elites are trying to distract us with their tricks so that we don't realize it's all a charade. There is no doubt that we are witnessing decisive events around the world. The days of our political leaders and ruling elite are numbered, and they know it. Because of this, they sow chaos, help exterminate animals, and cut down the jungles to create more sadness, knowing quite well that all living beings on this planet are interconnected, and when animals and plants suffer, it will lower the vibration of the planet, and that affects us all. Electrosmog affects not only humans but also animals, as we see in millions of birds and insects around the world, or sea mammals that become disoriented and end up on the beaches, often dying. Despite all this, the earth provides us with all the food we need. There is enough for everyone, even if we are told the opposite, in order to create a feeling of lack in us. It's not true that there is overpopulation. It's a lie that resources are scarce. But what concerns us all is what farmers have been denouncing to the public institutions for a long time, and no one has ever done anything to help them. Namely, the observation that when the military planes spray their chemtrails, they manage to break up the clouds. As a result, their crops are no longer getting the water they need. Why is something so serious not only unbroadcast by the mainstream media, but censored as well? The answer is that the media only serves this great power that is trying to control everything, and it's logical that they only broadcast what is dictated to them. But people are not stupid. In the past 2 years, everyone has seen the manipulated images, the misrepresented data, the fake numbers, and the manipulation of charts to fit their narrative. They have censored the opinions of thousands of scientists and Nobel Prize winners around the world because they contradicted the official version of the globalist elite, while the mainstream media disseminated the opinions of inexperienced actors, presenters or doctors who are well paid by the system, who repeated the official version like a mantra. And now they are trying once again to spread fear and divide us with a new war in Eastern Europe, although this conflict is not that new, as it has been going on for 8 years. A senseless conflict from which only the globalists benefit and, as always, the people suffer. The mainstream media continues to underreport what is really happening and constantly bombard us with their news to foment fear and thereby better control the populace. They censor dissenters and make us believe what they want us to believe. It's an attempt to impose a single mindset. But people are starting to get fed up with the many lies and are beginning to see that the pieces of the puzzle don't fit together. There are too many contradictions, too much censorship, too much manipulation. People can no longer believe in anything. The lies of the media are so obvious and blatant that many no longer know where the truth lies. The veil is lifted and the magician's tricks are slowly revealed. The whole thing is a farce, a circus, and many will be surprised at the end. The globalists' plan of the last 2 years to keep people asleep has failed and has the opposite effect. People are beginning to realize who is pulling the strings. That's why the elites are now making mistakes. They know they have little time left to build their empire. It's already too obvious that they will lose the battle.